Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, 6 people lose their lives after a boat capsized between Ijede and Badore in Lagos, southwest of Nigeria. More reactions trail the judgment of the Supreme Court on Anambra PDP as candidates from the Ejike Oguebego camp ask INEC to issue them with certificates of return. As the Zika virus goes global, medical experts proffer suggestions on how to protect the country from the deadly virus. And Turkey says that a Russian jet has violated its airspace and has summoned the Russian ambassador to Ankara.
On business news tonight, retail investors condemn capital market operators' request for 200 billion naira intervention fund.
And in sports news, world number 1 Novak Djokovic sets sights on 6th Australian Open title, but expects a fierce battle in the final against Andy Murray.
We begin tonight on a rather tragic note. 6 people lost their lives earlier today following an accident involving a ferry boat that capsized on the Ijede end of the Badore-Ijede waterways. The accident occurred at about 10:30 a.m. with 17 passengers on board the ill-fated boat.
Tarzan jetty at the Ijede end of the Marina Sea draws the attention of residents and sympathizers who stand bewildered over the tragedy that struck in the early hours of the day. The ill-fated 20-seater ferry boat, now anchored somewhere at the bank of the sea, was traveling to the Badore end of the water before it was caught short by a mishap few minutes after takeoff. Eyewitnesses say the boat bumped into a heap of dredged sand and somersaulted.
It has to do with the activities of the dredging company. The boat ran on one of the heaps of sand that was packed, which was not visible. The water has covered it, and in trying to maneuver, the boat somersaulted.
Before your passengers embarked on the journey, were they wearing life jackets?
It's a condition precedent.
Because of the dredging machine, they want to create the channels for the manual dredger to go alongside. So that's what caused the accident. The fishermen, they are very kudos to them because they really do a wonderful job today. If it's not for them, we are not going to claim anybody safe today.
At the time of this report, victims, both the dead and those rescued alive, were already taken to hospital. Conflicting reports had emerged about the number of casualties. The operator of the ferry service is not even sure of the figures.
Cannot give the precise number now because we are still trying to get information. But I know some people, about 5 people, were confirmed dead. Some people walked away themselves. Some are still in the hospital.
Among the relatives who seek information about their loved ones is this middle-aged woman. She says her brother was among those involved in the accident.
I just wake up. They call me on phone say my brother since died, but at this accident, motor boat accident. I just wake up. I just carry Okada, came here. They stay still there inside water.
Our concern about the cause of the mishap takes us to the spot of the accident. We arrive at a shallow area of the sea covered by a heap of dredged sand. This is believed to be the spot where the boat capsized.
It's quite unfortunate. For the number of years we've been operating this jetty, we've never had this kind of experience, and we hope it's going to be the very last one. Once again, we want to assure the ferrying public that this should not dissuade them from taking ferry, and we will improve on the security.
Meanwhile, doctors at the General Hospital Ijede say some of the survivors are responding to treatment.
Arising from the Supreme Court judgment that affirmed Mr. Ejike Oguebego as the Anambra State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, senatorial candidates of the pro-Ejike faction are asking INEC to issue them a certificate of return. Both Mr. Chris Uba and the other 2 senatorial candidates of the list submitted to INEC as candidates of the elections are asking the electoral umpire to issue them certificates of return. This request is coming at a time when senators already representing the state insist that the apex court judgment had nothing to do with them.
The recent judgment by the Supreme Court on who is the authentic chairman of the PDP in Anambra State may have laid to rest the chairmanship tussle in the state. But the issues of who should represent the 3 senatorial districts of Anambra North, South and Centre may just have begun. Senatorial candidates of the PDP belonging to the Ejike Ogwebego's faction are asking INEC to issue them certificates of return.
The answer of the Supreme Court case is very straightforward. It's INEC to issue us our certificate of return. There's nothing. Because that judgment of Court of Appeal is why the judgment they gave the certificate of return. Now the Supreme Court has set it aside and asked us to go back and take our certificate of return.
INEC should do the needful next week without wasting any more time. My lawyers are not wasting time to write them that this ought to be done. I can personally go there and demand my certificate because it's my right.
They also claim that they are the authentic candidates for the election recognized by the party's exco in the state.
The party submitted our names. INEC published these names. It's a people all tend to forget. Publish these names. There was the day of substitution, time for substitution has passed. He cannot change, he cannot remove a candidate. He cannot remove anybody. And nobody, there was no debt in anybody. So INEC have already finished what they're supposed to do. Our names was removed few days to the election, after we have finished campaigning for the elections.
However, Senators Andy Oba and Stella Odua in an earlier interview said that the judgment has nothing to do with the senators from the state.
It has nothing to do with, we are not a party to the suit. You can look at the judgment and see that nowhere in the judgment did our name appear. And a consequential order was not made in regards to this. If the Supreme Court thought that we were wrong in where we are or that we came through a false means, they would have made a consequential order to remove us.
The judge was very clear on its judgment, and it clearly says that it's not about who emerges, it's not about the election, it's about the legality of the ESCO, state ESCO. That's all it is.
The Supreme Court had on Friday ruled that the Ejike Ogwebego's led executive committee of the PDP subsists, contrary to an earlier judgment by a federal high court.
The Nigerian Law School is working on a new project to educate Nigerians and Africans about Nigerian law through drama. The project, which is an initiative of the Lagos branch of the school, has been tagged Eco Law. It's an offshoot of the legal clinic which the school introduced a few years ago. Our correspondent, Shola Shoele, has the report.
The teaching of Nigerian law is about to get more interesting. That's because the leadership at the Lagos campus of the Nigerian Law School is thinking out of the box. They've created a drama series of real legal issues faced by everyday people.
We want to, let people know about their rights, through dramatization. It's an initiative, the first of its kind in Africa, and it's called Ikorodu. We have the legal stories, we have the students analyze the legal issues in the stories, but we get Nollywood actors to act out the legal stories, just like you have in Suits or The Good Wife or Law and Order.
The law school curriculum was widened in 2013 to include clinical education. The legal clinics provide pro bono services and also gives law students an opportunity to learn firsthand some of the issues they'll confront in practice.
So the law clinic is an amazing part of the law school that we have at the Lagos campus. It enables the students to be able to interact with not only the lecturers on a very personal level, but also with people who actually just need help. It takes like boring, procedural law concepts into actual practice.
Several people who cannot afford quality lawyers would have several people who are interested and passionate about the law looking through their cases, offering them advice as to how they can sort out their matters. And surely, I guess, people whose disputes might have lasted more years and affected their lives surely would have a better day in the sense that their legal disputes and issues will be resolved.
The Lagos campus of the law school has also partnered with the Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership. With this partnership, some of the students get to serve in top law firms in the state and offer free legal services to solve some of the issues they take on at the law clinics. Shola Shoyeli, Channels Television News.
Residents of Balori, a few kilometers away from Borno state capital, Maiduguri, have been thrown into panic over a gun battle between soldiers and suspected Boko Haram terrorists. Sounds of heavy gunfire filled the air late this evening, causing panic amongst residents of the university area and other residential areas closer to Balori. Balori is home to more than 20,000 internally displaced persons in Borno state, evacuated from Bama local government area of the state. Spokesperson for the operation, Lafia Dole, Colonel Mustafa Anka, has confirmed the incident, saying that the situation is now under control. And in part two, after the break, meet Channels Television's reporter that is trying his hands on some technological exploits. Stay with us.